So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite all of you. Let's just go into a little tiny process to finish off whatever we went through yesterday. And we've been talking a lot about emotions this morning. And there is a way, from what I can hear from people, that one man's afraid to open his heart completely and just feel the suffering of the world. Another woman's concerned about all the tears that just is coming up. Another one's asking, do I open into an emotion? And do I let that be the entrance to the process? And I feel here that there seems to be a theme, a gestalt, of all of us having learned as children to keep our emotions under wraps, to keep it close to our chest, to not let anybody see our vulnerability and our weakness. And so these questions are coming out of this needing to befriend our emotions. And so I'd like to do a little tiny process here, and I'm just going to spontaneously actually give rise to it, because I don't know, I mean, I've never had this particular theme come up. And usually in satsang I like to do a little tiny process where we can actually clear something. And so let's just go into this. I'll be your partner, so you go ahead and let's take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and closing the eyes. And once again, just allowing your own presence, your own awareness to be vast, spacious, and free in front of you. And boundless and spacious and free behind. And endless, spacious to all sides. I'm going to ask you to imagine a campfire. Even if you can't see it, just know it's there. And at this campfire are just two people. A younger you and the present day you. And from what I can glean from what everybody's saying here, there is a way that the younger you has been kept under wraps. The younger you has been made to choke back the emotions. The younger you has been made to be strong. The younger you has been told that they're not allowed to feel what they're feeling. The tears aren't allowed to come. The younger you has been told to keep a stiff upper lip. And mainly the younger you has been told that they have to fit the mold of how you're supposed to be, how your parents thought you should be, how your society thought you should be. And so the younger you, if you look at the younger you may look like they're encased in a shell, or lidded in some way, or wearing a coat that's made up of all of your own criticism and judgment of that younger you. That every time emotion came up, you tried to shut it down. Every time that younger you tried to set themselves free, to be fully who they are, there was a way you tried to close them down and make them fit the mold. And if you look inside the eyes of a younger you, and someone said this yesterday, they said, I'm feeling very small. And the younger you may feel so lidded by all these ways that you've tried to keep yourself from being allowed to feel what's here. They may feel that you've kept them very small. They may be feeling very wretched indeed. And this consciousness of never fitting into your idea of how they should be and trying to keep the emotions under wrap, being strong, being a stiff upper lip, not being a baby, all of these things, trying to fit what your parents said you should be, what your family said you should be, what society said you should be, teachers said you should be. And in all of that, in fitting this mold of everybody else's ideas of who you should be, you lost sight of your own self. And so I'm going to ask you to repeat some words out loud with me to that younger you. And it has to be done out loud, because as long as you don't speak it out loud, it kind of stays inside your head. And saying to the younger you, letting the present day you say to the younger you, I'm so sorry. I was just doing the best I could. I wanted you to fit in. I didn't want others to judge you. And so I kept all the emotions under wraps. And whenever your emotions came out, I judged you for having them. And whenever you didn't fit the mold that everybody else felt you should fit, I blamed you. And I've been so judgmental. And I'm so sorry. Because I lost sight of who you really are. And I put this mantle, this coat over you. This coat of my judgment. Of every time you felt an emotion, I was there to squelch it. And I've been such a harsh judge. And I just pray you could find it in your heart to forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing. But I just knew that I had to keep all these emotions under wraps. Even if that meant judging you. And I have been such a harsh judge. And now opening the chest of the present day you, and ask the younger you, please forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing. I lost sight of my own soul. And just receive forgiveness. And now, asking a guardian angel to come, or a mentor, or several mentors to come. And I'm going to ask you to ask these guardian angels to lift this lid, this coat, this mantle, this dome, made up above from all of your criticism of trying to keep the emotions under the wraps. Asking the mentor, the guardian angels, just to lift it off. Now throw it into the fire. Just lifting off all these constraints, this lid you've put over your life, over your light. Just taking it and lifting this dome, this mantle, these coats, lifting it all off and throw it into the sun. And looking at the younger you, without all the coat of all this judgment, without this mold, you'll see that the younger you is just an innocent, shining being, a radiant soul. And saying to the younger you, you're beautiful just as you are. You're allowed to feel whatever's here. That's part of being human. It's part of being alive. It's part of being true to life. You're allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to feel again. You're allowed to feel the highs, the lows, the sadness, the joy, the fear, the love. All of it is welcome. And I give you full permission to feel. And now giving the younger you a balloon of permission to feel, and let the younger you breathe that consciousness in, letting it suffuse all the cells. And also a balloon of you're allowed to be yourself, full permission to be yourself, and breathing that consciousness in, letting it suffuse every single molecule. And another balloon of self-acceptance, breathing that consciousness in, letting it flood the younger you. And self-worth, breathing that in. And saying to the younger you, it's time we took this lampshade off your light. And imagine right now that you're lifting some huge lid off the younger you. And you're going to take this lid and throw it into the sun. And now making a prayer. There are a lot of souls out there who've put a lampshade over their light, who've put a lid over their lives. And imagine right now that some huge act of grace is coming and lifting this lampshade off, these lids off, and throwing it into the sun. As a matter of fact, there is a lid being put over our whole world, a lid of fear consciousness. And look and see the billions of souls, the candles, the torches, that are the souls of our world. And saying to the souls of our world, you have permission to take the lampshade off your light. Saying this out loud. You have permission to take the lampshade off your light. When you take your lampshade off, it gives others permission to do the same. We all deserve to let our lights shine. And now imagining as if there's this huge lid over our world, and imagining right now that some huge force of grace, of nature, is going to take hold of this lid and lift it off our world and throw it into the sun. And saying to all the beings of our world, you have permission to be free, to experience life, to let your light shine. And now turning to the younger you and saying to the younger you, you have permission to be free, to let your light shine. And now hugging that younger you, letting the younger you merge inside, growing up now as this freedom to be yourself, to feel life, to live life, to dance in life, to let your light shine. Growing up now in this that is yourself. And awareness is allowed to be spacious and vast in front, is free behind, and endless to all sides. Is just this light. Take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and opening the eyes,